Sony is back with another mid-generation refresh, and this time it's the PlayStation 5 Pro. The marketing for this console is pretty straightforward. They are promising a significant leap in power for the most dedicated gamers out there. The main selling point is the upgraded GPU, which Sony claims will deliver a huge performance boost. This is supposed to mean better graphics, higher resolutions, and smoother frame rates. They're talking about a future where 4K gaming at 60 frames per second is the standard, not the exception. It's a compelling pitch for anyone who wants the absolute best visual experience from their console games. Another major feature Sony is pushing is something they call PlayStation Spectral Super Resolution, or PSSR for short. This is their own version of AI-powered upscaling technology, similar to NVIDIA's DLSS. The idea is to use machine learning to render games at a lower internal resolution, and then intelligently upscale the image to 4K or even 8K. This technique should, in theory, allow for much higher frame rates without a noticeable drop in visual quality. Sony also promises enhanced ray tracing capabilities, making lighting, shadows, and reflections in games look more realistic than ever before. It sounds like a true next-gen experience finally realized. Beyond the graphics, the PS5 Pro is also supposed to offer a faster CPU and more system memory bandwidth. This should lead to quicker loading times and a more responsive feel across the entire system. For developers, this extra headroom means they can create richer, more complex game worlds without being held back by the limitations of the original PS5 hardware. Sony is painting a picture of a console that doesn't just improve existing games but also unlocks new possibilities for future titles. It's an exciting vision designed to get tech enthusiasts and hardcore gamers reaching for their wallets. The promise, then, is a console that bridges the gap between the current generation and whatever comes next. It's for the player who notices every dropped frame, who wants the crispest image possible on their high-end 4K TV, and who is willing to pay for a premium experience. Sony's marketing materials are filled with impressive-sounding specs and technical jargon, all pointing to one simple message: this is the most powerful PlayStation ever built. The question we have to ask, however, is whether that power translates into a genuinely better gaming experience that is worth the high cost of entry. So, let's talk about the price, because this is where the Pro experience starts to feel a little less professional. The PS5 Pro comes in at $599, a full $100 more than the standard PS5 was at its launch. For that extra money, you might expect to get a complete package, but that's not exactly the case here. The base model of the PS5 Pro does not include a disc drive. If you're someone who still buys physical games or wants to watch 4K Blu-ray movies, you have to buy the disc drive separately. That's an additional $80, bringing the total cost to nearly $700. This unbundling of essential features feels like a major step back. It's one thing to offer a digital-only console at a lower price, but it's another thing entirely to sell a premium Pro model and then ask customers to pay more for a component that used to be standard. It doesn't stop with the disc drive either. Just like with the PS5 Slim, the vertical stand is not included in the box. If you want to place your shiny new Pro console upright, you'll need to shell out another $30 for the official stand. These are not luxury add-ons, they are basic components that many people expect to come with their console. When you add it all up, the true cost of a fully equipped PS5 Pro is significantly higher than the sticker price suggests. You're looking at around $710 before you even buy a single game. This pricing strategy feels like it's designed to nickel and dime the consumer, especially the most loyal fans who are eager to upgrade. One commenter on Reddit put it perfectly, saying, "They're charging us a premium for the power, then charging us again for parts that should have been in the box." It leaves a sour taste and makes the whole proposition feel more like a cash grab than a genuine upgrade. For most people, this is a very expensive machine for what it offers. You have to really ask yourself if the promised performance gains are worth navigating this maze of extra costs. Is a slightly shinier reflection in a puddle or a few extra frames per second worth the price of 2 brand new games? For a small group of enthusiasts with top-of-the-line displays and a desire for the absolute best, maybe it is. But for the average gamer, the value proposition starts to fall apart very quickly when you look at the final bill. When the PS5 Pro finally landed in the hands of reviewers, the consensus was surprisingly lukewarm. The overwhelming takeaway was not one of revolutionary change, but of subtle, often barely noticeable improvements. Many critics pointed out that unless you have the original PS5 and the PS5 Pro running side by side on two identical high-end TVs, you would be hard-pressed to spot the differences in most games. The promise of a night-and-day upgrade simply didn't materialize in practice. The law of diminishing returns seems to be in full effect with this console. For example, many reviews highlighted that the visual enhancements are incredibly minor. In games that received a Pro patch, you might see slightly sharper textures when you zoom in or more stable ray-traced reflections in specific scenes, but during normal gameplay, these enhancements often get lost in the action. One prominent tech reviewer noted, "I spent hours looking for the graphical leap, but all I found were marginal gains that didn't change how I played or experienced the game." This sentiment was echoed across forums, with users posting comparison screenshots where the differences were negligible at best. Performance is another area where the PS5 Pro has failed to consistently impress. While some patched games do hold their target frame rates more reliably, others see no improvement at all. There have even been reports of certain games performing worse on the Pro, with unexpected frame drops or graphical glitches that weren't present on the base PS5. This inconsistency makes the upgrade a gamble. You're paying a premium for a better experience, but you can't be sure if your favorite game will actually run any smoother. It depends entirely on whether the developer puts in the effort to release a solid Pro patch. Ultimately, the expert opinion is that the PS5 Pro is a solution in search of a problem. The original PS5 is already a very capable machine that delivers fantastic next-gen experiences. The Pro version offers incremental improvements that just don't justify the significant price hike for the vast majority of the player base. As one critic concluded in their video review, "This is a console for the 1%, for the gamer who has the best of everything and needs the numbers on the spec sheet to be as high as possible. For everyone else, it's an easy skip." So, who is the PS5 Pro actually for? If you're a gamer who already owns a perfectly good PS5, the answer is probably not you. The upgrade path just doesn't make financial sense. For the cost of upgrading, selling your old console and buying the new Pro plus its accessories, you could instead buy a huge 2TB internal SSD for your current PS5 and still have enough money left over for several new games. That is a much more tangible and immediate improvement to your gaming life than the minor visual boosts the Pro offers. Your library gets bigger and you have more to play. Let's compare the value directly. The PS5 Slim, often available in bundles with a game like Marvel's Spider-Man 2, offers a much better deal. It provides the exact same core gaming experience as the original PS5 but in a smaller package. For new buyers, the PS5 Slim is a fantastic entry point into the PlayStation ecosystem. It plays all the same games as the Pro, uses the same awesome DualSense controller, and delivers stunning 4K graphics that still look incredible in 2025. The performance difference between the Slim and the Pro is simply not big enough to be a deciding factor for most. The bottom line is this: the original PS5 and the PS5 Slim are not obsolete. They are powerful consoles that will continue to be the primary platform for developers for years to come. Games will be made to run great on them first and foremost. The Pro is an enthusiast device, a luxury item for those who want to be on the bleeding edge of technology, no matter the cost or the minimal returns. It's for the person who has a state-of-the-art 8K TV and home theater system and wants to push every last pixel out of their hardware. For everyone else, the advice is simple: save your money. Your current PS5 is more than capable of delivering amazing gaming experiences for the remainder of this generation. Don't fall for the marketing hype around marginal gains. The real upgrade is not in a slightly more powerful box, but in the games you play and the time you spend enjoying them. The PS5 Pro is an impressive piece of engineering, there's no doubt about it. But for the average gamer, it's an overhyped and unnecessary expense.